Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 153 based on novel. So let's start. Ganwu Continent, Pinghai Company's 89th level, Shushin's office. Your Majesty Shushin, congratulations. From now on, you'll officially be a core member of the Virtual Universe Company. A tall and skinny silver-eyed old man in a simple white robe smiled. You have living quarters in the last phase region of Yuxian Mountain in the virtual universe, and also one on the last phase region's secret region. You can choose to actually head over there. Last phase secret area. Where is that? Shushin asked curiously. Very far. The white-robed old man smiled. The company can arrange for a universe ship to pick you up. You'll have to fly for a few years in the dark universe. Is it close to the absolute beginning region? Shushin asked. No, the white-robed old man shook his head. The four secret regions were born in the vast universe a very, very long time ago. They are very far from each other. The last phase region and the absolute beginning region are in different star sectors. Star sector. Shushin was disappointed. Star sector was considered the largest denominator within the universe. One star sector was normally the size of an entire universe country. That was an extremely huge territory. If the absolute beginning was close to the last phase region, then Shushin was actually considering going there. This way, she could meet with her husband in reality. Your Majesty Shushin, you are a member of the business side. You have to no need to head to the distant last phase region. The white-robed old man smiled. The universe secret region environment is helpful only for warriors. Almost all of the business members stay within their homes. Of course, should you wish to go, we can send a request. No need. Shushin shook her head. Everything has already been relayed. Your Majesty Shushin, I'll leave first. The tall and skinny old man bowed and left. Only Shushin was left in the office. Looking at the documents on the tablet, Shushin's eyes were filled with excitement. 3 knocks were heard on the door. Enter. Shushin shouted. Big Sister Shu, Big Sister Shu. The short-haired lady ran in shouting. Did the entering of the core member request go through? Shushin was filled with glee, nodding. That's great. The short-haired lady cheered excitedly. Big Sister Shu, you've finally succeeded. Ah Lan, thanks for your many years of support. Shushin was filled with gratitude as she looked at this good sister of hers. The lady who was beside her was a good partner of hers when she started her own business on Earth. These past many years, the two of them were considered a gold combination, and this sister of hers Dong Lan had enjoyed many benefits due to Shushin too. For example, over these 100 years, Dong Lan's appearance had hardly changed too. Why say such things? Quickly go inform that guy. The short-haired lady teased and smiled. Shushin took a deep breath. How long has it been? How long has she fought for this day? Request call. Shushin sent a request to Luo Feng. It was however cut off the moment it was dialed. The request was denied. Shushin was shocked. This doesn't seem right. There should be about 7 days before he leaves Primal Chaos City. There shouldn't be any important things going on these last days. What's wrong, Big Sister Shu? The short-haired lady asked curiously. I can't seem to connect. Shushin shook her head. Primal Chaos City. Luo Feng walked out from the leader's residence. Many images of the 9 universe tablet floated in his mind, different levels of comprehension were occurring throughout. I have to treasure my time. There are only 2 more days before I leave Primal Chaos City. Luo Feng became a beam of light and headed towards his training quarters. I have a large amount of things to digest from my study of the tablet. Things to make my own. Looking at the origin laws in the sky will help my study. Luo Feng landed on his own balcony. He sat crossed-legged and closed his eyes to recap on the past 7 days of studying the 9 universe tablet, occasionally looking at the sky, observing the splits in space flowing and weaving with origin laws, interweaving, happening throughout. 1 day, 2 days. Time to leave. A voice suddenly resounded within Luo Feng's mind. HM. Luo Feng awoke shocked. In the distance he spotted a large outline of a dark blue fish-shaped ship floating in the air above Primal Chaos City, as many silhouettes were rushing towards the sky. Time to go. Luo Feng immediately flew up too. About 800 people flew towards the ship from within the city. While heading towards the universe ship, Luo Feng looked down at the ancient city shrouded in chaos energy. Teacher, when you go out, it'll be hundreds to thousands more times more dangerous than primal chaos city. Be careful, don't throw the face of True Yang. A voice pierced through 10,000 li right into Luo Feng's ears. Luo Feng nodded. After interacting for 20 years with his teacher, their relationship was definitely deep. Silhouettes followed the stomach cabin door of the fish and flew into the ship. Within the resting room of the ship, 816 youths entered in and were chatting comfortably with each other. Luo Feng, you are vicious. And you too, Rong Jun. The Manca Prince Wuka was unsatisfied. The two of you, one passed the 5th level and the other the 4th. You've left me far behind, it's too heartbreaking. Since you know the difference, then work harder. Luo Feng patted his shoulder. Wuka was shocked. You do need to work harder. Rong Jun walked over too and patted his shoulder. Damn you two punks. Bastards, I'm already this heartbroken, and you don't even console me. Wuka snorted back at them. Luo Feng and Rong Jun both laughed. While Luo Feng, Rong Jun and Wuka were teasing and laughing, the others returned to their old cliques, forming groups of 3 to 5 and chatting. However, there were still some loners who didn't interact with others. Like that white-robed youth with the blood blade on his back, who was always alone in the corner and not interacting with anybody. Rumble. With that, a green armored silhouette entered the large hall. That heart-palpitating aura made everyone go silent, not daring to make a sound. Primal Chaos City's basic training for 30 years has ended. Nine-Blade Knight's gaze swept past the 816 youths before him. All of them immediately looked down, not daring to make eye contact. Your group's death rate was pretty bad. However, in terms of results it's considered very exceptional. Especially Bolan, Luo Feng and Rong Jun. These three, not bad at all. Immediately, there was some movement amongst the group of youths as many of them turned to look at the mentioned three. Bolan had passed the 6th level. His initial lead was too much, everybody had gone numb to it. Luo Feng passed the 5th level. Rong Jun passed the 4th. Amongst these three, everybody was already numb to Bolan. Towards Rong Jun, they felt envying that he had a universe country leader as a teacher. Towards Luo Feng, however, they felt shock and respect. Even without a universe country leader as a teacher, he actually passed the 5th level and improved at such a shocking rate. Luo Feng turned to look, the white-robed youth Bolan was looking over. The two of them made eye contact. Bolan nodded. Luo Feng nodded too. These two had deemed each other as rivals. Luo Feng's aim was to catch up and exceed him, while Bolan's was to improve at a shocking rate and leave him far behind. At this time, Luo Feng. In the corner of the group, Longyun looked at the distant Luo Feng. The distance between us is getting bigger, I'm a primal region member. Experiencing that uncomfortable shift through time again, the universe ship finally arrives in the actual universe. We've already left the primal universe. The green-robed purple-scaled man looked at the group of youths before him. This represents that your training in the safest primal chaos city has ended. From now on you will be divided into 4 groups to be sent back to the primal region, the absolute beginning region, the heaven and ground region, and the last phase region. It won't be as safe and secure as primal chaos city in the future. I wish you all the best of luck. Hopefully, when the next time I see you all, there's still at least 500 alive. The green-robed purple-scaled man finished. Rumble. The universe ship slowed down and after a while, the cabin door opened. Luo Feng and the group flew out of the ship, with glances spotting the distant mountain ranges, with many ships flying about, silhouettes flashing past the skies, and many stars and heavenly bodies above. We've arrived at the virtual universe headquarters. Luo Feng flew out and descended. Right, Barbata, open connections to the network. Understood. Virtual universe, Yuseong Mountain Absolute, beginning Villa 1106. Within the study. There's actually 111 requests from Shushin. Luo Feng appeared within the study and opened his laptop. This urgent, did something important happen? From the laptop, he quickly connected through the call requests and on the screen Shushin's image appeared. You called so many times, what's so important? Luo Feng asked nervously. It's a very important matter. On the screen, Shushin replied. What's the matter? Luo Feng asked again. Head to Yuseong Mountains Common Regions WAN-U Tower to meet someone. Shushin said. Yuseong Mountains Common Region. Luo Feng was suspicious, anybody he meets in Yuseong Mountain would all have to be at least core members, and the number of core members he knew weren't too many. Which core member would request an audience with him through his wife? There's no such person. Who is it? Luo Feng was filled with questions. Go and you'll know. Shushin said, hurry, it's very important. Ah? Luo Feng grew even more suspicious. Luo Feng walked through the entrance of the absolute beginning region, and became a beam of light heading towards the common region. She actually knows the common region has a WANU tower. And to request to meet me in the common region, just who is this person? Luo Feng thought. Even in the entire Black Dragon Mountain star field, there aren't too many core members. The more Luo Feng thought, the more suspicious he got. Common region, it was very luxurious. As the only common gathering point between all of the 4 regions' core members, one must know that anyone who could become a core member must be extremely wealthy. Hence, the businesses here were bustling and advanced. WANU Tower. WANU Tower. Luo Feng glanced at the distant 9-level black tower's name. This tower was surrounded by many rare types of plants and flowers, causing the air about to emanate fragrance. Luo Feng landed amongst the crowd and walked towards WANU Tower. Just who is it? Luo Feng sniffed the flowers and walked towards the entrance, suddenly stopping. In the distance. At the entrance of WANU Tower, beside the beautiful flowers stood a pretty silhouette. She was looking at him. The two of them faced each other at the entrance of WANU Tower. Yuseong Mountain Common Region, WANU Tower's 9th level. Sitting beside the railing, with a glance one could see the distant mountains and spring water. Then the Virtual Universe Company, seeing how well the Pinghai Company was doing with its great growth and its huge scale, hence they bought the firm. Also, back then they were prepared to offer only 6 times. Shushin sat at the other end of the table, explaining to Luo Feng how she became a core member of the Virtual Universe Company. Our company's capital increased 10-fold in a short while. That was very dangerous back then. Luckily your younger brother Luo Hua got his people to help circulate the funds. Finally, before you left Primal Chaos City, we reached the goal. Luo Feng sat there and stared at his wife as she spoke. He had mixed feelings within. He felt incredibly moved from the depths of his heart. He truly never really expected his strong business-minded wife of his to work so hard. All for the sake of standing beside him, to be closer to him. Geniuses will make others feel the pressure. Barbata's voice resounded in his mind. When they are with other geniuses, they will only see themselves get left further and further behind. No matter how much harder they work, the distance will only grow. Hence, the friends of geniuses are mostly all geniuses. Luo Feng was stunned. Right? His high school friends from when he was young, just how many of them does he actually keep in touch with now? Even his childhood friend, who grew up with him, someone as close as a brother my Wen, he only occasionally meets with him in the virtual universe. Even when it comes to his relatives, he only sees them occasionally. However, Rong Jun, Wuka etc., he meets much more often. Watching her own husband make it in the universe, with his status rising further. Your wife naturally felt happy and proud. However, you were leaving her further and further behind, even to the point of meeting her only once in 10 years. What kind of impact will that have on your wife? Hence, your wife wanted to get closer to you, stand by your side, and not get left behind. Barbata exclaimed. Barbata's voice resounded in his mind. Looking at his wife before him who was still speaking, just like that, I became a core member of the Virtual Universe Company. I am capable, right? Shushin shifted her nose and raised her head proudly, following which she looked embarrassed at Luo Feng. The company's buy over and so on, I never once asked for your opinion. You are not angry, right? You passed all responsibility to me back then to control the company, and even said you were training in Primal Chaos City, with no time to. Silence. Luo Feng extended his arm to hold hers. Shushin. Luo Feng looked at his wife who was in front of him. Shushin was stunned. Sorry. Luo Feng said softly. She could hear the guilt and shame in his voice. Shushin's eyes teared up. Virtual Universe Headquarters. It was an incredibly vast continent in the universe. In comparison, even planets and stars seemed like little dots. Primal Region members Bolan and Longyun, who are heading to the Primal Secret Region, you'll have to follow the knight and leave with him. Wait here for the knight. Absolute Beginning members, you'll head that way. Have a seat in that grey meteorite universe ship. Heaven and Ground members, you'll sit in that second purple ship. Last phase members, you'll take that third largest ship, the black one. Standing in the meeting room was a silver-robed lady. Her voice resounded, simultaneously pointing through the transparent glass at the 3 ships that had just landed. You can leave right now. Rumble. 816 youths stood up together. The 4 secret regions are all in different places. We brothers will only be able to meet in the virtual universe in the future. We'll leave first. Goodbye. The friends said their goodbyes. Bolin and Longyun remained in the meeting room. The rest of them followed the exit out and waited outside, naturally forming their groups and heading to the different ships. Your Majesty Rongjun, Your Majesty Luofeng, Your Majesty Qian Shui. That meteorite-looking ship's cabin door opened and a handsome-looking and polite man, with blood-red long hair smiled as he welcomed the 8 members of the Absolute Beginning. While entering the ship, Luofeng turned back to look at the meeting room. It was a pity that from the outside, one couldn't see through the windows of the meeting room. But Luofeng could feel, within, that someone was looking at him. Bolin, you are my current level's rival. Luofeng thought, following which he entered. After a while, the 3 F-grade ships, with a rumble, flew and left. Within the meeting room, Bolin and Longyun were awaiting the 9-blade knight. They both looked out the glass at the 3 ships that were leaving. Luofeng. Rongjun. Longyun looked on, that heart yearning for victory was burning strong. I will exceed you too, definitely. The 3 ships very quickly accelerated to light speed, entering universe transfer. As the Absolute Beginning, Heaven and Ground and Last Phase secret regions were at different locations, the 3 ships had long separated and headed in their own directions. Dark Universe. A meteorite was swiftly flying, accelerating more and more, 20 times light speed, 21 times. Within the meeting room of the dining hall of the meteorite. Welcome all of you to the Absolute Beginning region. There were 9 undyings at the long table and 8 universe-level youths. The person speaking was a tall and sturdy man, with 18 horns and scales all over his face. His entire being emitted a strong and fierce aura. I, Meteorite Emperor, will protect you as you head towards the Absolute Beginning region. Thank you, Meteorite Emperor. Luofeng, Rongjun and the rest of the 8 bowed. Ha ha, Meteorite Emperor laughed loudly. The scales on his face creased slightly, making one's heart palpitate. Let me tell you all first, the 4 secret regions are in completely different locations, they are not even in the same universe country. Ah? Luofeng and the rest of them were shocked. The territory of a universe country was incredibly vast. The primal region is the closest to the headquarters. It's in the same universe country as the headquarters. Next is the Absolute Beginning, and then the Heaven and Ground region. The last phase region is the furthest away. Meteorite Emperor's voice was like a metal clashing, booming. The Absolute Beginning region you are headed to is about 1.200 million light-years from the headquarters. 1.200 million light-years. Luofeng, Rongjun, Qian Shui and the others were all shocked as this was an incredibly impossible distance. Even with light speed, it would take 1.200 million years. Right now the ship has already reached 50 times light speed. It will travel for about 3 months in the dark universe before reaching the Absolute Beginning region. Meteorite Emperor smiled. Let me first introduce the Absolute Beginning region and give you a brief description of it. Luofeng and the 8 listened intently. The Absolute Beginning region is actually a universe secret region. However, it was simply given the name. Meteorite Emperor exclaimed, our primal universe is the most ancient and incredibly vast universe. It has produced many life forms, trillions of races etc., with countless warriors. During its evolution, many regions and sectors become galaxies, stars, planets etc. The galaxies are the most commonly seen. However, due to unknown special circumstances, during its evolution, it also produced several special sectors that don't follow its regular laws. Meteorite Emperor exclaimed. These special regions will completely challenge your imagination. The life forms and many strange things within these places, treasures and so on will also challenge your imagination. The eyes of Luofeng and the others gleamed. These special regions have been called universe secret regions. Everyone is different. Meteorite Emperor exclaimed, different universe secret regions will produce different unexplainable treasures, even terrifying disasters. Universe secret areas also have different levels of danger. Even with the safest ones, a few sector lords will die even as they enter. But most will die while competing and fighting for the treasures within. As for the most dangerous regions, I heard that even a universe country leader wouldn't have much hope of surviving. Meteorite Emperor looked at the shocked faces of the group, smiling. Why, is it shocking? Luofeng and the 8 were stunned. My god. Universe country leader, these were absolute beings that opened a universe country for trillions of years. Even they had very little hope of survival when entering the most dangerous secret regions. A newly discovered universe secret region, no one can imagine what goes on inside. Meteorite Emperor exclaimed, it may be a disaster inside, or it could even hold an unbelievable miracle. There are big and small regions. The big ones are comparable to a universe country. Meteorite Emperor emphasized, the small ones can go up to the size of a galaxy. Silence. Luo Feng and the others were completely stunned and silent. Such a huge secret region. Comparable to a universe country. And the primal, absolute beginning, heaven and ground and last phase secret regions that belong to the virtual universe have all been excavated and remodeled. They don't hold any more dangers within. Meteorite Emperor laughed. As universe secret regions have incredibly thick amounts of universe energies within, they are very suitable for training. Universe energies. Luo Feng thought. When the universe energies condense into solid form, they form universe crystals. Sector lords, the reason why they can create their own worlds was because of their ability to condense a large amount of universe energy. The absolute beginning region you are headed to is comparable to a star field. Meteorite Emperor said, living and training in the secret region, the most important and useful thing is the points. Within the company, the points are more effective than gold. Meteorite Emperor's words had indeed filled the youths with anticipation towards the secret regions. However, it was obvious that even the safest of the newly discovered regions required at least a sector lord to enter. Unless it was an already excavated and remodeled one like the absolute beginning region. Time flowed. Days passed and in the blink of an eye, 26 days had passed. We are arriving at the absolute beginning region soon. During my 30 years in Primal Chaos City, I passed 5 levels of the Heavenly Bridge. According to the 10 times reward, my points have reached 30,360. Luo Feng calculated within his resting room. Luckily, I earned more points while in Primal Chaos City, otherwise it'll be hard to acquire them. If it weren't for the 10 times reward, passing 5 levels would only give him 3,100 points. It was because it was 10 times that it reached 31,000 points. Right now, they had already left Primal Chaos City. Passing any levels of the Heavenly Bridge wouldn't yield the 10 times reward anymore. Come out. Meteorite Emperor's voice resounded throughout the ship. We've arrived at the absolute beginning region, we'll begin universe travel now. Sure. Luo Feng stood up, his eyes filled with excitement. They've finally arrived at the absolute beginning secret region. Within the control room of the ship, Luo Feng and the rest of the 8 absolute beginning members were gathered with Meteorite Emperor along with the other Undyings. We'll begin universe travel immediately. Meteorite Emperor laughed loudly, as his voice resounded within the entire control room. Traveling to the absolute beginning region is different than traveling to any other normal star fields. Luo Feng and the others were curious. You'll know in a moment. Meteorite Emperor had just ended his speech and a cold mechanic voice resounded throughout the control room, beginning universe travel, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 2, 1. Immediately the ship shook and within a second it returned back to normal. Travel complete. External simulation. Meteorite Emperor shouted. Immediately the surrounding scenery changed, allowing Luo Feng and the others to see the scenery outside. My God. Luo Feng and the rest of the 8, including the Manca Prince Wuka, were all completely shocked and stared at the simulation. How is it? Meteorite Emperor laughed. It's too unbelievable. Luo Feng looked outside. It was shrouded in thick mist. In the distance there were colorful clouds, and one could even occasionally see large meteorites. It's actually... How is this possible? The 8 were shocked, because engaging in universe travel meant usually passing through space where there was nothing in their path, hence it would normally be very safe. And right now the ship Meteorite Emperor was taking them in was passing through the internal areas of a certain star field, which looked extremely dangerous. Not right. Wuka shouted. This is the inside of the absolute beginning region. Meteorite Emperor smiled. The scales on his face creased. Right, this is already a core district of the absolute beginning secret region. Then, what happens if we want to leave the region? Wuka pointed outside. Look at the meteorites outside. There are dust clouds around and there's no space for a ship to even accelerate. To engage in universe travel requires a ship to accelerate to light speed. That's the only way to do it. Luo Feng nodded, right. Universe travel to the absolute beginning region was easy, but what about leaving? You are right. Meteorite Emperor nodded and smiled. The absolute beginning has a diameter of about 5 million light-years, which is similar to a star field. In normal space, we can accelerate to light speed, however, a universe secret area is different, as there are special fire flows, cold flows, astral winds, and also cosmic dusts, making the resistance against ships extremely large. It's almost impossible to accelerate to light speed. Meteorite Emperor said. Universe travel had high requirements. One had to accelerate to light speed. And accelerating to light speed One first had to have very little resistance, and also a long area to accelerate. Just like an airplane runway, these universe ships required a large enough space before it could reach light speed, and this distance was tens of millions of that of a plane. This was usually easy to do in normal space. However, in the secret area, it was almost impossible. Right, within the universe secret regions, it's normally impossible to engage in universe travel. Meteorite Emperor nodded. However, the absolute beginning is different. It's been excavated and remodeled. Within this secret region, there are certain territories that have been swept by the absolute warriors, making enough space there for a universe ship to accelerate. Luo Feng, Rong Jun, Qian Shui, Wu Ke, Ari Chen and the others were shocked. Swept enough to let a universe ship accelerate to light speed. Just how big of a space did they have to clear out? There's no way around it. The absolute beginning region is too huge. If they didn't do so, we would have to fly slowly from the outer perimeter. With the greatest 5 million light-years distance to calculate, we'd have to fly 5 million years. Not traveling straight to the core won't do. Meteorite Emperor laughed. When you return, you will all be given a star map. This is a map of the territories within the entire region. With the help of this map, you'll know how to enter and exit the absolute beginning region. Universe ship, it was flying within the absolute beginning region. I need to send each of you to each of your living quarters. Meteorite Emperor laughed in the control room. It requires about 3 days of time before I can send every single one of you. Luo Feng and the others remained silent. To reach the living quarters for the 8 of them required 3 days of flying in the universe ship. Rong Jun, we've arrived at yours. Meteorite Emperor shouted. Simultaneously through the external simulation, everyone could clearly see the space outside shrouded in thick heavy mist, and there was a beautiful little continent floating. As they drew closer, that continent got bigger, finally the ship landed on it. The cabin door opened. Go out and take a look. Meteorite Emperor laughed and shouted. Luo Feng and the others excitedly flew out of the ship. As they flew out, they could feel the thick universe energy revolving about them. Luo Feng and the others landed on the ground and looked at the distant endless space. It was shrouded in mist and one could occasionally see cold streams flowing past. There's a continent in this space. It feels too good. How big is this continent? Luo Feng and the others looked around. This floating continent was extremely huge. It was at least beyond what their eyesight could perceive. Rumble. Meteorite Emperor landed on the ground and laughed. This is star fragment 803899092. Its diameter is 5,800 kilometers. In the center of this fragment, there's a huge mansion. Rong Jun, that's your living quarters. Naturally, this entire star fragment, from now on, will belong to you alone. Rong Jun surveyed his surroundings. This continent was lush with vegetation and many forms of plants. Absolute beginning region, the universe energies are incredibly thick. Meteorite Emperor pointed at the mist around them. Look, this mist all around you can form little crystals filled with universe energies. With that, Meteorite Emperor grabbed the air and a large amount of the mist swiftly compressed, forming a large crystal. Universe crystal. Luo Feng, Ari Chen and Rong Jun couldn't help but shout out. Right, universe crystal. Meteorite Emperor laughed. The limitless mist, when gathered, will form universe crystals. As the universe energies are too thick, training in the absolute beginning secret region will allow one to feel the ripples of the universe energies clearer. It's extremely beneficial to one's training. From the distance, 10 silhouettes flew over. Your Majesty. 10 armored universe soldiers landed in an orderly fashion. They were led by a sector lord. They all shouted respectfully together. Everybody else up on the ship, we are heading to Wu Ke's quarters next. Meteorite Emperor shouted. Rong Jun, see you later. Rong Jun, we'll leave first. Luo Feng and the others waved and entered the ship once again. The ship took off and flew once more. Each of the members were being sent to their own quarters, and Luo Feng was the 5th to arrive at his. Star fragment 803898081. Luo Feng muttered while walking on the continent. Its diameter is 6,200 kilometers. According to what Meteorite Emperor said, this star fragment was split by absolute warriors from the Virtual Universe Company, creating many star fragment bases. What thick universe energies! Luo Feng waved his hand to feel the mist. He couldn't help but exclaim. If he wanted universe crystals, he could create it anytime he wished. As long as they compressed the mist, they would form crystals. However, to Luo Feng and these core members, even 1 trillion universe dollars was but one mixed element. And to compress and create 1 trillion universe dollars, my god, how many years would that require? Hence it wasn't even worth it. Naturally, if normal citizens from normal planets saw this, they would go crazy. Universe dollars, to the normal folk of the universe, was still a very expensive currency. Luo Feng looked up. In the distance 10 silhouettes flew over. Leading them was a bald old man. It was the leader of Luo Feng's guards, Ao Duo Li Ku Wenshan Lai Suo. Your Majesty. The 10 bowed respectfully. Luo Feng smiled. Ao Duo, we've finally met in reality. I've been looking forward to this day too. The bald old man smiled. Your Majesty, I'll lead the way. After a while, with the protection of his guards, Luo Feng arrived in an ancient villa. This villa had a length and width of 300 kilometers. There were many constructs within. Such a large construct, to the virtual universe company, was simply too easy to create. Your Majesty. Ao Duo smiled. I'll do the introductions. Following which Ao Duo immediately flew up, and Luo Feng followed. The two of them flew tens of thousands of meters above the ground. From this height, we can barely see the edge of the star fragment. Luo Feng looked down and surveyed below. Ao Duo only looked ahead. Your Majesty, look that way. Luo Feng glanced and was shocked. In the faraway distance, there was a dark blue planet. Even the extremely thick mist couldn't block its glimmer. That's an extra large planet. Ao Duo exclaimed. It has a diameter of 1.28 million kilometers. The strange thing is that it's extremely cold. Our star fragment revolves around this ice planet constantly, and there are a total of over 3,000 star fragments that revolve around this ice planet, and almost all of them have absolute beginning members. Luo Feng felt a sense of how unbelievable it was. Diameter of 1.28 million kilometers. It was close to the size of the stars in the solar system, however it was a huge ice planet, and it glimmered. How peculiar. The Virtual Universe Company ordered a long time ago that before one reaches undying, he is forbidden from entering the ice planet. It's almost certain that any sector lords who enter it will die. Ao Duo exclaimed. An ice planet that glimmers, and also capable of killing sector lords, it's much stronger than a normal star. Universe secret regions, they are indeed mysterious. Many of them don't even follow common knowledge. Luo Feng shook his head. Actually, a place that had such thick universe energies that one could easily form universe crystals, spread throughout the entire star field. For such a place to exist, nothing weird from it would be shocking. This, Luo Feng surveyed below. Amidst the thick mist, a large star fragment floated. Is my future training spot, let's go down. Luo Feng and Ao Duo rushed downwards. Star fragment 8038908-1 had a diameter of 6,200 kilometers. This was close to a quarter of Earth's surface area, however this was only the living quarters for one absolute beginning member. Within the villa, there was a team of guards with 111 people. One general at sector lord level, 10 captains at domain lord level, and 100 universe soldiers at universe level. This formed Luo Feng's guard team. And his waiters and staff members were made up of an even greater number, as there were a total of 1,800 staff men and women. After all, the area of the star fragment was simply too huge. Even with the help of technology and machines, protecting the entire star fragment required a large amount of work. 111 guards, 1,800 staff, and 1 lord, this was the population of the star fragment. From today on, without my orders, I do not wish to see anyone enter here. Luo Feng ordered while looking around a quiet little building. Yes, Your Majesty. The bald old man Ao Duo bowed respectfully. Luo Feng looked at the bald old man. Ao Duo, from what I know, the core members should be able to bathe in the life pool to evolve their bodies to the highest levels, right? Life pool. The bald old man was stunned. Luo Feng was curious. Ao Duo was a core member of the last phase region, and he should know this. What life pool? Ao Duo asked curiously. After breaking through to Universe Level 1, bathing in the life pool will raise one straight to Universe Level 9. No. Luo Feng asked again. I believe that Your Majesty is referring to the nutrition cabin. Ao Duo laughed. What's a life pool? Right, core members in the Virtual Universe Company have a certain privilege. As long as one breaks through to the Universe Level 1, Domain Lord Level 1, or even Sector Lord Level 1, they can immediately head to the nutrition cabin. It has very valuable essences, allowing the person to evolve within. Ah. Luo Feng nodded. Right. The life pool was Wuka's name for it. The young generation of Mankas would all enter the life pool. The Virtual Universe Company didn't necessarily have a life pool. But they did have a nutrition cabin, or even a nutrition river, wasn't it the same? Right, nutrition cabin. Luo Feng asked, how do I request it? Your Majesty hasn't entered the Virtual Universe network yet. AO Duo smiled. Every new batch of the company has to first go through the basic training in Primal Chaos City first. After which, their rights and privileges change. Many things they were unable to do before will now be enabled. Once you go online, you will know. Luo Feng nodded, following which his consciousness entered the Virtual Universe network. Virtual Universe, Absolute Beginning Region Villa 1136. Within the study, Luo Feng sat in the chair. As he opened the laptop and looked at the screen, he discovered one new mail from background management. Luo Feng tapped it gently. The mail automatically opened and there were 3 choices on the summary page: life, study, and training. Life? Luo Feng gently tapped. Large amounts of pages unfolded before him which contained information from star maps to food and beverages, nutrition cabin, ships and so on. There were all sorts of information. Luo Feng opened all of them, and was able to find solutions for any questions or problems related to living in the Absolute Beginning region. As for the nutrition cabin, one could choose the option of the nutrition cabin to help one evolve to the highest level. Request. Luo Feng tapped it gently. A small screen appeared and in it displayed was a beautiful jade-haired lady in a white robe with a smile on her face. How do you do, Your Majesty Luo Feng? Did you request to use the nutrition cabin to evolve from Universe Level 1 to Universe Level 9? Yes. Luo Feng nodded. Your Majesty Luo Feng, we will send the nutrition cabin to your quarters within a day. The jade-haired lady smiled. Thanks. Luo Feng smiled. The call ended. That was easy. Luo Feng muttered. As for food and beverages along with many other requests such as even ships are provided for. Although, the good ships have to be bought. However, the A grade to D grade ships are provided. Right, the normally not too expensive items are all provided for. Closing the life section, Luo Feng opened the study section. The study section was separated into theory and practical. Theory, the main thing was the public lessons in the entire Absolute Beginning region. These were normally taught by Undyings, and occasionally having a universe country leader teach. These courses provided information about gold, wood, water, fire, ground, wind, thunder, and light, the 8 origin laws, plus the laws of space and time, the hardest 2 laws. They also spoke of the fusion of space and gold, space and wood, etc. There were also skills lessons. And consciousness training lessons. Many different types of lessons. The teachers were all at least Undying level, and occasionally universe country leaders. These public lessons all belonged to the Absolute Beginning public lessons, only Absolute Beginning members could attend them. They actually don't force anything. Luo Feng smiled. That's good, when I want to I'll attend, if not I'll train alone. However, just from the course names and the Absolute Being's teaching, these were enough to let Luo Feng understand just how vast their wealth was. Normal warriors would dream of getting an Undying teacher. Just like Luo Feng's slave by Carlo, his teacher was Nuolan Shan. Nuolan Shan was a universe level 9. Because of his huge axe title, many had gone to become his students. This showed that in the universe, just how sparse the teacher resources were. As for Luo Feng and his group, they had a large group of Undyings to teach them. These Undyings all spoke of what they were proficient in, even occasionally having a universe country leader to come in and teach. How luxurious. Study section is separated into theory and practical. Luo Feng thought. Theory is the classes by the Absolute Warriors, what about practical? He gently tapped it. The practical segment was separated into the Heavenly Bridge, Fantasy Ocean, and Undying Altar. Within them were the detailed explanations of each of them. Heavenly Bridge. Virtual Universe Company core members have the right to attempt the Heavenly Bridge. The requirements of the bridge are related to one's comprehension of the origin laws. The deeper one's level of comprehension is, the higher level he can pass on the bridge. The higher the level, the amount of points awarded will also be higher. Fantasy Ocean. Virtual Universe Company core members have the right to attempt the Fantasy Ocean. It tests one's consciousness strength and willpower. Consciousness and willpower, by training them, it will allow one to break through the bottlenecks and is very important in battle and many other aspects. One will attempt to break through the Fantasy Ocean from the outermost layer to deep within. The deeper one goes, the higher the points. Undying Altar. The Undying Altar tests one's ability to unleash energy. Even with the same type of body, different warriors have different unleashing strengths and usage. Pure raw power will be measured as 1 point. A few powerful warriors can reach 10 or 20 points, but one's maximum potential is set at 100 points. This is the perfect standard for using one's strength, and the degree to how one controls his strength to perfection is a requirement for breaking through to Undying. Undying Altar tests one's strength exertion. The stronger it is, the higher the points. Heavenly Bridge. Fantasy Ocean. Undying Altar. Luo Feng held his breath. I didn't expect that other than the Heavenly Bridge, there's also the Fantasy Ocean, an undying altar. Damn. The Virtual Universe Company is indeed the Virtual Universe Company. They have everything mapped out. On Luo Feng's shoulder, Barbata stared wide-eyed. They actually have a group of undyings, and even a universe country leader teaching classes. Making just the Heavenly Bridge is more than enough. Yet, there's even a Fantasy Ocean, an undying altar. How do they make those? Body, consciousness strength, willpower and origin law comprehension, these are the main aspects to becoming undying. Barbata shouted. Especially the undying altar, this can actually test one's strength. What's hard about that? Luo Feng laughed. When we were on Earth, couldn't we also test one's strength exertion? It's not the same. When one trains to your level, a punch alone will naturally be infused with origin laws. Barbata explained. For example, your raw power is 1, when you exert strength it can reach 20. However, with the laws, your attack can rise to a 100 points. The test will read it as 100, but that's not your true strength, do you understand? Luo Feng realized. Right. The origin laws could increase one's power a lot, it wouldn't just be one's raw energy. Tap the undying altar. Barbata shouted. Luo Feng gently tapped. Undying altar, specially created for the virtual universe. It isolates universe origin laws, universe energies, spirit energy, and so on to accurately test one's strength exertion. Hee, I've never heard of such a place, normal warriors would never even know of such a place. Barbata shook his head and exclaimed. The best thing is that, the Heavenly Bridge, the Fantasy Ocean, and Undying Altar can all get you points. Luo Feng laughed happily. The background management, after finishing life and study, Luo Feng excitedly opened the third option, which was training. When it was opened, a summary page popped up with several words. In the Virtual Universe Company, points are more effective than money. And other than the Heavenly Bridge, Fantasy Ocean, and Undying Altar, one can also choose to do missions to gain points. A true warrior cannot be born in a completely safe environment. Only through grueling and intense battles will one constantly evolve and get stronger. The training missions are a form of training in reality. The missions are separated according to their difficulty and danger levels such as safe, normal, difficult, danger, impossible. Safe level, mortality rate 0. Normal, mortality rate 10%. Difficult, mortality rate 20%. Danger, mortality rate 50%. Impossible, mortality rate 90%. As the danger levels differs, the amount of points for each mission too will naturally differ. All core members should choose according to their levels of strengths. Don't choose a level that is too safe, as others will exceed you that way. However, do not blindly choose the most dangerous on as well, as without sufficient preparation, one will be walking towards death. Whether it's study or training, everything will be decided by you, the core member. You make your own choices, you'll bear the consequences of your own actions. The path to becoming undying is filled with danger. I wish you all to walk this path and become undyings. Finishing the final training segment page, Luo Feng was silent for a while. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.